You've asked, and I am delivering. Today we are back with another Angelina Jordan reaction video. This will be of her newest release, If I Were a Boy.
If I were a boy.
And we're gonna do a little compare and contrast against her different versions. One that is labeled live acappella, which does have a little piano and cello. Another one from the piano diaries, which is piano accompaniment. And then a very standard pop sounding release. Before we get into it, hi, hello, my name is Alicia Ann. If you don't know me, welcome to the channel. I am a vocal coach and choral conductor based in Washington, D.C. for another 3 days. Oh my gosh, I am moving so soon. Everything's about to change, but I mean, pretty obvious. I'm in a very empty living room. I don't even have a couch. I'm sitting on the floor with my little laptop balanced on a box. So excuse the lack of production, but this is about Angelina Jordan. So let's get right into it.
If I were a boy, even just for a day,
It's a beautiful church.
I'd roll out of bed in the morning and throw on what I wanted and go.
Sultry, and she has a very dark tone quality, and we get that rasp every once in a while that is so signature to Angelina Jordan.
I could get with who I wanted, and I never get confronted for it, 'cause they stick up for me. If I were a boy.
Now let's talk vocally and musically. The top note, if I was a boy, that one. She sings it so crystal clear, straight tone. I don't think she did vibrato on it at any point, besides like that pull away and then soft in that smaller part of her resonators. Now vocally, what I did notice is she did bring up more weight into the top note. That one. She has a lot more weight up there than what I would encourage a student to sing with, just because if it's not done properly, then of course it can lead to vocal damage. I'm not necessarily saying that's what's going on with her, but it's just a caution for singers in general.
I think I could understand how it feels to love a girl. I swear I'd be a better man.
And always makes you want more. She doesn't overuse it, but it is her voice.
If I were a boy.
That right there was full vocal fry.
Tell everyone it's broken, so they think that I was sleeping alone. I put myself first and make the.
I thought it was a little funny. In this version, you see the piano and the cello. Let me see if they credit them in the description here. It doesn't look like it. There was definitely some strings, like high strings, like violins and violas. Let me go find them.
If I were a boy, I think I could understand how it feels to love a girl. I swear I'd be a better man.
So yeah, those are definitely not cello sounds. And they don't sound acoustic either, so they were probably synthetic strings. Again, just adding to the production value, it adds another depth to the song.
Give you like that if you thought I would wait for you. If that were, but you're just a boy.
I find it very striking to watch Angelina perform this song because she seems to have a different connection to this one than I've seen her have in the past. And let me rephrase that, because she's always a very expressive performer and she always seems to have a very specific thing she's singing to or for. And it gives you this depth that touches you even if you don't know what she's singing about. That's one of the things that the world loves about Angelina Jordan. But with this performance, I hesitate to call it like a darkness, maturity isn't the right word, but she sings in a different way than she has in the past. Kind of like this underlying tone of like, hear what I am saying. And I'm glad that she chose this song because it does speak to the experience of a woman in the industry. And I'm sure she has firsthand experience with the trials and tribulations that women go through, and that she's using this song as a way to communicate the unsettledness that she feels about it.
You don't understand. How it feels to love a girl someday. You wish you were a better man. You don't listen to her. You don't care how it hurts.
This is the part I want to talk about vocally. You don't care. She brought up a lot of weight. And as we heard, there was a little bit of air coming through the sound. Vocal technique is all about balancing the muscle to the breath, manipulating those ratios of how much muscle versus how much breath. And it sounded like a little bit right there. She was just bringing up too much weight, too much muscle. The air just got away from her a little bit. But anyway, that's it for this video. I'd like to compare it now to the other version she posted, the live acapella, which again, it's not entirely acapella. So let's take a listen to this one.
If I were a boy, even just for a day.
One random thought as she started, it's curious why they chose to do this in a, a church. It's just a questionable venue for a song like this, especially since they're getting a studio recording and not necessarily using the ambience of the room. So just a thought. But yeah, again, at the beginning, she is totally out of time, just doing her thing, letting it come out how she feels it.
Stick up for me. If I were a bird, I think I could understand how it feels to love a girl. I swear I'd be a better man.
She does an incredible job with the emotional piece and having her own style, maintaining a dark tone.
When you lose the one you want, 'cause it's taking you for granted, and everything you had got destroyed.
Now, comparing this with the previous version that we just listened to, if I was a betting woman, which I am not, but if I had to place a bet, I would say that they recorded this version after they recorded the other version, that this one came second, because you can hear it in her voice that she's pretty fatigued. And some of the vocal warning signs that we were hearing in the previous version are a lot more prominent in this video. Of course, she still sounds fabulous, and who knows, they could have been doing this for 12 hours that day. You just never know. And arguably, a more tired voice allows the soul to come through more. So I could understand if someone said they prefer this version better because it's more emotional. But if I were her voice teacher, we would do a lot of work with placement, specifically with mixing. She's very low in her resonators. I'd like to get her a little bit higher just so she has a little bit more, instead of relying so much on one section of her voice, I'd like to have her explore other areas that she could use.
To come home, if I were a bird, I think I could understand.
Also, I couldn't not mention this because I am a conductor and I care a lot about the ensemble, the overall feeling of the piece, putting all the different pieces together. And the cellist is delightful. Watching how the pianist follows her and their musical intuition. I saw there was one point in the video where they looked at her and they'd gotten just a tiny bit off and they were able to get back on very easily. That's the sign of a good musician. And in general, the three of them do a really good job feeling out their beats. And when I say beats, I don't mean like the rhythm or the tempo. I'm talking more about the emotional beats of the song and the high points and the low points. I'm gonna listen through one more time.
I refuse to love a girl. I swear I'd be a better man.
Yeah, right about at this point, I would lead her through a vocal warm down just because of that fatigue that we're hearing. It sounds like perhaps her vocal folds are swollen as well, and so we would do some things to address that, just for the longevity of her voice and doing what is best for her.
But you're just a boy. You don't understand. Oh yeah, I refuse to love a girl someday. You wish you were a better man.
Yeah, her diction is another thing that we would talk about. I'm trying to find the right word. It's not that she's mumbly, but you know, we have our articulators, which help us understand words. So our articulators are the tongue, the teeth, and the lips. So you can do exercises. Of course, there's tongue twisters or like, there's various things that we can do to stretch out those articulators. And I think that would be an area of focus if I was working with someone like Angelina on an ongoing basis. Lord knows, when I was first starting to take singing seriously, diction was one of the hardest things for me to master, to completely understand like what is going on in the mouth, how things are coming out, how it affects the resonating space. But that's a whole thing. For Angelina, we would focus on keeping the words at the front of her mouth, relaxing the back of her tongue, keeping the neutral position of the tongue on the base of the teeth against the gums at the bottom here, and then fully closing our lips. Like any of those consonants that have fully closed lips, I would make sure that it's fully closed. As an exercise, something I might give her is, we call it the French lips, kiss kiss, and just singing like this in the sleeve to keep things more forward. Because as she goes on, as she sings more, it tends to get a little spread, and then her tongue gets a little lazy like this, and it becomes harder to understand what's coming out of her mouth. There's so many elements to singing. She's doing so many things well.
You don't listen to her. You don't care how it hurts until you lose the one you want, 'cause he's taking you for granted. Hey, everything you had got destroyed, but you're just a boy. Yay, that was good.
That felt really good. Musically, it was really good.
It's great to hear her express her experience as a woman in the industry. You can feel the connection and the ownership that she does have, and that is something really special. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I listened to the official music video. I listened through it one time. It's no surprise it was produced, right? Like they recorded it in a studio. They got as many takes as they needed to make it perfect. And then they did the video afterward. So I don't exactly hear a need to dissect that video in and of itself. If you gleaned a lot from it, if it meant a lot to you, I'd love to hear your interpretation and like why you loved that video. But for me, I prefer these other two versions, the piano version and the live a cappella that isn't actually a cappella. Those are my preferences. Out of these two, I think I would prefer the Piano Diaries by Toby Gad. I think that's the version I prefer the most. But what about you? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below which version is your favorite. And with that, we're gonna call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what video you would like to see next, and I look forward to seeing you next time.